Good morning, everyone. It's October 8th today. It's a bit cloudy and we're expecting quite a bit of rain this afternoon. About an inch to an inch and a half, they're saying right now. Should start pretty soon. It's actually pretty warm out today too. It's about 60 degrees right now, pretty breezy. Yesterday morning it was down to 26. We've had a few pretty good frosts and now a good freeze. So everything in the garden's pretty much done at this point. Actually, this morning I pulled out the rest of the corn, piled it up right here. And the chickens love it. Not really sure what they're finding in it, but whatever there are for bugs aren't going to be there for much longer. Down in the woods and behind the house right now, there's some pretty good color back here, but a lot of the maples, which are the brightest trees typically around here, have already lost their leaves. You can see most of them are on the ground already. The oaks have just started to change, which is it's almost like we have two peaks for color. One early in the season, last week of September, first week of October typically, for the maples, and then the oaks typically peak third week of October or so into the first week of November. They're pretty late. It smells amazing down here. This is one of our better sugar maples that we tap in the spring. As you can see, it doesn't have many leaves left, just at the top. It's a beautiful tree. A couple more over there. Yeah, you can see looking out there, the maples are what are in color, and they've dropped quite a bit of the leaves, and then there's some green trees out there. Obviously there's the white pines. There's a few trees that are still pretty green out there as well, and those are all the oaks. And those should really start to change within the next week or two. All the ground cover's starting to die off from all the frost. Let's go see what we've got for color in the sugar bush. I'm walking over to the sugar bush right next to us, next to our property here. It's not actually an active maple syruping area, but they used to tap it back when this was all farmland. They left this area. As you'll be able to see in here, the trees are much bigger. And they used to tap these trees every spring and make maple syrup. It's really cool because there's not a lot of ground cover in here. All of the low stuff is staying pretty low. It's just ferns typically, and the rock wall over there. And then these massive, mostly sugar maples. There's some regular red maples, and there's a spotty oak here or there. some color. It's tough to see. It's a bit cloudy today. It doesn't pick it up real good on this camera. And these are all, like this tree right here in front of me, in my hand. These are all the next generation of tappable maple trees that are coming up that have been seeded by these bigger guys. It's going to be a few years before they're ready to be tapped, but they're not the fastest growing trees, but they're long living. Down on the other side of this rock wall is where they logged probably 4 or 5 years ago, I would say at this point. They came in and thinned it out pretty good. Took a lot of maple, mostly all hardwood. They took some big white pine back behind our property out that way, but for the most part they were coming in here for hardwood. But they left quite a bit too, as you can see. It's not like it's too thin. There's some thinner areas as you go further down in there. But it makes for really good browse for the deer, all the new stuff that's coming up. And we've got plenty of them around. Some of my earlier videos, I've uploaded some pictures from my game camera. I've got quite a bit more pictures saved to my computer from that camera. I usually try it out in a bunch of different spots. Pretty nice out here. It's definitely my favorite time of year. Yeah, with it being October 7th, it's closing in on hunting season. It's actually very close to bow hunting season. That should start within the next few days. I believe mid-October typically, around here at least. And rifle season doesn't start until November. So I won't be able to come out here like this for much longer. As you can see, I'm not really wearing any orange, but we're safe today. Yeah, as you can see, all of the ferns are all dead. That 26-degree morning we had yesterday morning really kind of took care of the rest of the low growth stuff. Now over the next few days, this stuff will all fall over and it'll be much easier to get around out here. I wanted to get out here to do a quick video, just an update on the foliage before the rain started. See if I get a chance later, if it's not too wet, I might strike out a little further, get some more clips. But for now, kind of neat to see these the little Christmas trees, the little balsam fir trees growing back. They used to be really thick in here. We're in an area where they were quite dense before they logged. And then when they came through here, actually you can see a few logs still sitting here that they left behind. When they came in here and logged, the trails they made came right through these balsam firs. They took what they could and drove over the rest, but they're quick to come back. It hasn't taken long. You can see there's still some good patches. And obviously the hemlock and some big white pine. Used to be pretty thick in here with those as well. You couldn't see them very good because the trees were so thick. The lower growth trees were so thick in here, but once they thinned it out, all of a sudden these big white pines became pretty visible. And they took quite a few of them, but left a good amount as well. And we did lose a few down near the end, down there where that really bright colored tree is. Not last October, October 2017, near the end of the month, we had a big windstorm. We had wind gusts up between 60 and 70 miles an hour, which is a lot more wind than we typically see here, other than in midwinter. So the trees still had, especially the oaks, still had leaves on them. So that caused a lot more damage around this part of the state than it typically would have if they didn't have leaves on them anymore. But the pines too, with them being thinned out in here and logged, they weren't rooted for strong winds like that. So the first big windstorm we got like that knocked a few of them over. One of our trails going back up to the house. I'm just walking along one of the trails we cut for maple syruping purposes down near the back of our property. This rock wall right here is the property line. Got a couple big brush piles to get rid of back here. We had thinned out the woods behind one of our lower gardens there just to get some more light and airflow in. And now we've got these big brush piles to clean up. Looks like there's some nice color right in here. Sorry for the shaky video. It's a little rough walking. Actually, right in here, this is one of the pine trees that we lost during the windstorm. It's all decomposing now, but that big stump right in the middle of those fir trees, that's where it snapped off. And there were two more, I think, down that way, right next to it. One big gust came through and knocked them all out. A couple nice sugar maples there. Got some good color. It's actually where I put my game camera most of the time, is right in the back corner down here. It's in right now, I don't have it out, but again, if I get a chance to go out a little bit later, I might try to find a new home for it, see if I can get some more pictures. I know that big buck that I have in one of my earlier videos is still hanging around. I'd love to get some more pictures of him. Sometimes when the low growth ferns die off, they have pretty nice color as well. These are all past, but about a week ago they were all bright yellow. Made for a good contrast against the trees. I'd say we're probably a peak. Peak color should be within a week or so. Maybe a little bit longer. The maples are, like I was saying earlier, they're all at peak, but the oaks are yet to really start changing, but they will pretty quick. They do, once they start, they turn within a week or two. So it's raining pretty good out right now, but I decided to head back out and put my camera out again. I just checked the radar and it doesn't look like it's going to let up too much for quite a while now. I was going to wait until it got a little bit lighter, but I don't think it's going to until probably tonight. So we'll just do a little walk in the rain. I don't know exactly where I'm going to put the camera. I'm going to try a different spot this time. I might go out a bit further, depending on how wet the new low growth stuff is. It's going to be pretty soaked, so I do have my taller boots on. So we'll see what it's like. I might stick a little bit closer, or I might go out a bit further. I think that quail that I have pictures of in my last video just took off right here. He was sitting right under these trees right here. Looked like him. I called him a quail. It's actually a woodcock. They're native game birds here in Maine. Coming down pretty good. I don't know if you can see it clearly on the video, but oh, there goes a partridge out there. Guess the birds don't mind the rain. So this right here, this is the tree that I typically put my camera on, this little balsam fir here, facing this way. There's a lot of game activity on this trail right here, so I typically put it here. But this most recent time, I didn't get a lot of pictures on it, so I'm going to try a different spot, I think. I'm going to head out into the cutting out here. Try not to get too soaked. Don't think we're going to avoid that. Actually walking on a game trail right here. Most likely just deer, but the coyotes have been hanging out pretty close too, so I'm sure they use it regularly. In fact, I'm hoping to get some new pictures on my camera. I'll put it out a bit further out here. They don't seem to come as close to the house as I usually put the camera, so it's part of the reason why I want to go out a bit further. I've been hearing them a lot lately, so they're out here. Some deer tracks in here. Nothing too recent. pretty nice color down in the swamp down here. Typically is. I think it helps to have the contrast against the balsam fir and spruce that we've got down here as well. Makes it pop a little bit more. Let's see. I think I'll head in there. Out here it's pretty soaked. All the raspberry bushes that are growing up in this logging area out here. They're getting me pretty wet, so I'll tuck into the woods a little bit. There's a little brook out in the woods here. It's not much of a brook, but it's enough to draw some wildlife activity. I'm gonna head out towards that and see if I can't find a spot to put my camera down there. I'm getting pretty wet. That's alright. Still nice out here. Go this way. There aren't a lot of distinct game trail signs in this area. There's definitely activity in spots, but I'm hoping to find a really active trail. They don't typically use the same trail this time of year as much as they do during the winter when there's snow on the ground. But they do sometimes. Okay, I'm a bit further out now. I'm on a pretty good game trail here. I don't know if you can see it. Following it right up through here. And it comes from back where I came from there. The back side of the logging area is kind of right through these trees over here. So let's see if we can't find the brook. It should be right up here. And find a good spot. They definitely cross the brook in here. There's also a trail right here. think I'm gonna try to find a spot facing that way. As you can see, there's actually a dog track of some sort there, probably coyotes. This is that little brook I was talking about. Not much of anything, but that's all the animals need, is just a little bit of water. I think this is going to be the spot. The trail coming in right here. I'm going to put it right on this tree. There's the brook. Facing that way right there, there's another trail that comes across. Pretty nice area. I think I'm going to put it right here. Give it a shot. I'll come back out in a few weeks and check it. Angled up a little bit, so I'm just going to wedge a stick in behind it. Let me just check to make sure it's facing the right spot. I think that'll do it. I've got it set on video mode. Usually I do pictures, but I'm going to try video this time. See what happens. Should be good to go. With the flashing red light, it's a good sign. Alright, time to head back home. It's wet. This is one of my favorite areas out here, at least close to the house. It's where they logged. I try to include a picture right here, facing this way, of this spot last winter when we went out to go snowshoeing. I'll definitely have videos of snowshoeing coming up this winter, but I'll insert that picture right here. Pretty nice time of year then too. Probably actually my second favorite, close to fall. I guess I like all the seasons, but you can't beat winter around here. No bugs, easy walking, other than the deep snow, which I don't mind. Oh, this is pretty nice too. Even in the rain. And it's pouring. Well, I think I'm going to call that on this video, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you like videos like this, if you could, I'd really appreciate it to give me a like and a thumbs up on my YouTube channel and subscribe. I'm going to keep putting videos out like this. Any kind of hiking videos, videos on the animals around the home, pictures I get on my camera, and any trips that we do. I'm hoping to get some regular hiking trips into some of the mountains around the area, as well as just drives like we did to Mount Washington, similar to that, just to kind of show the seasons and stuff and the things that I'm up to. So until the next time, thanks again.